So have you ever wanted to live right next to Glacier National Park? Well, there's two towns you can do that in, East Glacier and West Glacier. And in today's video, we're going to take a trip from east to west, show you the two towns and everything in between. So let's start by taking a look at East Glacier, and this town is a kind of a tale of two different towns. This is Highway 2 running right through the middle of town, or what you think is the middle of town. But in a minute here, we'll go back under the railroad tracks that are off to the left, and that's the other part of town. So basically right here you have a couple of gift stores and a convenience store down at the end. But then behind, there's some older homes, and this is probably the older side of town. But the population of East Glacier is only 315 people, and there's actually a little elementary school off to the right here as well. So as far as real estate goes in East Glacier, right now there are two places available. One is a one-bedroom, one-bath, 528 square foot home that's listed for $130,000. And then there's one, and that's in town. There's one outside of town that's a two-bedroom, one-bath, 1,030 square foot home on almost 8 acres for $939,000. So as we tour the other side of town, I'll tell you about what's sold in the past year. There were two that sold in town. One was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home listed at $255,000, and down to a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home that was listed at $170,000. And then outside of town, there were 3 sold, and they ranged in price from listed for $720,000, a 5-bedroom, 2-bath home on 2.5 acres, down to a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home on just under 4 acres for $600,000. So the reason this side of town is a little busier is it's because it is home to the big Glacier Park Lodge. And as you can see, it's directly across the yard to the Amtrak station. So if you take the train, you get off basically at the front door of this lodge. This lodge is really nice. It was built in 1913, and they had all these huge logs that were brought in by train, and it took 75 guys a year and a half to build this thing. And like I was saying about the train earlier, this is the Empire Builder line, and it's the route that goes from Seattle to Chicago, and you can get off right there at the lodge. There's also a little golf course here behind the lodge. It's a 9-hole course and just spectacular scenery. Some of the prettiest backdrops you'll ever see at a golf course. But as you'll see here in a second, if you're looking for pristine maintenance, like you're playing Augusta or something like that, this is not going to be the course. But it is a lot of fun, and like I said, the views are spectacular. So once you leave East Glacier and start heading west towards West Glacier, you immediately start going uphill towards Marias Pass. And this is one of the passes that I noticed driving around Montana that it seems very low. It doesn't even really seem like you're on a pass. I mean, obviously you're going uphill, but it's not big cliffs on the side and anything like that. The scenery obviously is incredible because everything you see off to the right side is Glacier Park. And once you get up to Marias Pass, it's only 5,213 feet high, and it's actually the lowest pass between Canada and New Mexico in the U.S. So they have a little rest area up here that kind of salutes all the people that found this area and built the railroad. This is John Stevens, and he mapped and charted this whole area back in 1889, and then they started building the railroad in 1890. So if you're making this drive, you should definitely stop in here and check it out and read all these things about the history of this area. It's pretty interesting, and the views here are spectacular as well. As far as this pass goes in the wintertime, it's not steep. Like I said, it's not your typical mountain pass, but it can definitely get windy up here, and I've run into some whiteout conditions, and the roads can get pretty treacherous. So even though this is the lowest pass over the Continental Divide in Montana, don't let that lull you into a false sense of security. It can get pretty bad up here. But the other thing that's pretty crazy is I've driven this numerous times from east to west in the winter, and right when you come over this hill here, it's like the weather changes dramatically. Over on the east side, you get the wind and the bitter cold and the blowing snow, and it seems like every time I come up and over, you get down into this part of the state or this part of the drive, and it gets a lot nicer. And the other part of this drive that's kind of interesting is right here, you're actually going into Glacier Park for about 3 or 4 miles. You're in the park, and there's no entry fee or anything like that. You're just in this little sliver of the park down here, and then you come back over this bridge and over the river, and then you're in the little town of Essex, which is another place you can live that borders the park. Because again, everything on the right side of the road here is Glacier Park. This river is the border. This is the middle fork of the Flathead River. And then on the other side of the highway is the railroad, and that brings us into the little town of Essex, and I hesitate to call it a town. It's just a group of houses, and like I said, this is definitely all about the railroad. As we come up here to the Isaac Walton Inn, this was an old railroad station. It's just recently been bought out by a company, and it's not open right now. The main lodge is not. It sounds like you can still rent some of these train cars that you'll see parked around. You can actually sleep in them, and they have them set up for hotels. So if you ever dreamed of sleeping in a train car overnight, this is your spot. And you can also, I think next year it'll be open again, this Isaac Walton Inn. The history in there was very cool. It was all the old railroad history and everything, and I am interested to see how they've changed it, because I know they sold a bunch of that off once they bought it. But it used to be very historical down there. There's a restaurant in there and just a great place to stay. Also, you can just ride the train, obviously, from anywhere and get off here in Essex and stay here in Essex. And in the wintertime, they have all kinds of cross-country ski trails back up in the mountains. You can see that bridge there. And once you go back over the tracks, there's miles and miles of cross-country ski trails out there, and just a cool place to hang out. So the population of Essex is listed as 72 people, but as you can see, once you head west again on Highway 2, there's an area of a grouping of homes, I should say. So as far as the real estate goes in Essex, right now there's 6 places that are available. 2 of them are in the little, if I want to call it, town site, and they are listed. There's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath place at 1,613 square feet on about a half acre, and it's listed at $725,000. And then there's another one basically right next door that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot house that's also on a half acre, and it's listed for $625,000. And then out here in the open area, as we continue heading west, there's 4 houses currently available. They range from a 4-bedroom, 4-bath place that's 2 houses on 2.6 acres that's listed at $2.4 million, down to a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,068 square foot house on a half acre that's listed at $400,000. As far as what's sold in Essex over the last year, there were 2 places that sold. One was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,058 square foot house on 1.1 acre, and it was listed at $790,000. And it goes down to a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square foot house that was on 1.8 acres that was listed at $449,000. So as we get closer to West Glacier, you'll see we're still following the middle fork of the Flathead River, and this is the portion of the river they do all the commercial rafting trips. They have a lot of rapids through here, and it's about 8 miles into West Glacier from this point. And then you come down the hill and you come into the actual little town of West Glacier, and it's similar to East Glacier as in the fact that the highway goes through a tiny little sliver of town, a couple of restaurants. You got the Belton Chalet here, you got the train station on the right, and then you turn right and go under the tracks, and you come into the main part of West Glacier. And this is always very busy, especially in the summertime. This is one of the main entrances into the park. But you come in here and you have a actual Canadian welcome station here because it's the Glacier International Peace Park that borders Canada. And then this is the main part of town, and it's filled with gift shops and restaurants, and there's a little bar and a little grocery store over here. And this road continues over the bridge right here and is the main entrance into the west side of the park. Like I said, this is how you get to going to the Sun Road, and this is how you access the majority of the park is through this entrance, and that's why it's so busy all the time. But once you cross this bridge, you're actually back in Glacier Park. This is no longer the town site, and the gate to get in the park where you have to pay is just beyond this sign. So as far as places to live around West Glacier, it mainly revolves around homes around the golf course here. You have this course called Glacier View Golf Club. It's an 18-hole course. It's kind of a short course, but it's a fun, also very scenic course. In the real estate here in West Glacier, we have 2 homes that are currently for sale. One is a condo that we just drove by earlier that sits right on the golf course, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,612 square foot condo, and it's listed for $819,000. And then outside of town, there's a listing right now. It's just a 1-bedroom, 2-bath, smaller house, 1,384 square feet, but it's on 40 acres, and that place is listed for $1.9 million. So as we go around here, you'll notice this little area sits up above the golf course, and it's a nice neighborhood and pretty high-end homes up here with just spectacular views out over the course and into Glacier Park. And then down below, these homes over here, they actually sit right on the course, and the course is over there on the left, and then on the right side of the road is the river again. So this is a nice area as well, and these are a little bit older homes. They're kind of the original homes that were built around the course. And then you have this last little neighborhood that sits directly behind all the shops and everything when you first come into West Glacier. And once again, these are kind of smaller, older homes that have been here for a long time. Most of them are used as rentals for the people that work here, but obviously within walking distance to all the stores and everything that are right there in West Glacier. So West Glacier has a population that's listed at 137 people, but just like East Glacier, they also have their own little elementary school here. So once they get done with elementary and they get into middle school and high school, they would head over to Columbia Falls, and that's where the biggest or the next biggest schools are for this area. So as far as homes that have sold in West Glacier over the past year, there were 3 of them, and they ranged in price from $1.2 million for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,728 square foot house that was on 5 acres to one that was listed for $699, and it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath on 1,317 square feet on just over a quarter of an acre. So if you're planning on living in any of these towns that we showed you, just know that it goes from one extreme to the other. In the middle of summer, they're just crowded and there's people everywhere. And in the winter, it is very, very slow, very quiet. If you like that, you'll love living in these towns because there's just not a lot going on in the middle of winter. And if you'd like any more information on any of these towns or houses in these towns, let us know. We'd be happy to help you out.
Thank you for watching our video. Please call, text, or email for more information. And don't forget to watch our other videos about Montana.